The history of LGBTQ+ individuals in Iran is a multifaceted journey that spans thousands of years, shaped by cultural, religious, and political influences. Before the Islamic Revolution of 1979, Iran experienced a complex interplay of societal attitudes towards LGBTQ+ individuals. While there were no explicit legal prohibitions against homosexuality, prevailing cultural norms often stigmatized same-sex relationships. Islamic teachings, which viewed homosexuality as a sin, remnants of pre-Islamic traditions further contributed to the marginalisation of LGBTQ+ individuals. However, historical records suggest that homosexual practices existed in pre-Islamic Iranian society, albeit with varying degrees of acceptance. The 1979 Iranian Revolution marked a pivotal moment for LGBTQ+ rights in Iran, as the establishment of the Islamic Republic ushered in a new era governed by Sharia law. This shift in the legal and societal landscape brought about significant challenges and persecution for LGBTQ+ Iranians, with draconian penalties imposed for homosexual acts, including imprisonment and the death penalty. Before the Islamic Revolution of 1979, the landscape of LGBTQ+ rights in Iran was shaped by a mix of societal norms, cultural attitudes, and religious influences. Homosexuality was not explicitly addressed in Iranian law, but it was generally considered taboo within the context of Islamic teachings, which viewed same-sex relationships as sinful. Pre-Islamic traditions also contributed to the marginalisation of LGBTQ+ individuals, with societal norms often dictating a binary understanding of gender and sexuality. Despite this stigma, historical records suggest that same-sex relationships existed in pre-Islamic Iranian society, albeit with varying degrees of acceptance. Homosexual practices were depicted in literature, art, and poetry, reflecting a more nuanced approach to sexuality than what prevailed in later centuries. However, the advent of Islam brought with it a shift in attitudes towards homosexuality, as Islamic teachings began to shape societal norms and perceptions. While there were no explicit laws criminalizing homosexuality before the revolution, LGBTQ+ individuals still faced societal discrimination and marginalization. Same-sex relationships were generally kept hidden due to societal stigma, and LGBTQ+ individuals often faced ostracism from their communities. However, the absence of specific legal prohibitions meant that LGBTQ+ individuals were not explicitly targeted by the state for their sexual orientation or gender identity. The implementation of Sharia law in post-revolutionary Iran brought about severe consequences for LGBTQ+ individuals, particularly those accused of engaging in homosexual acts. Specific laws were introduced that criminalized homosexual behavior, with penalties ranging from imprisonment to the death penalty. Under these laws, men accused of homosexual acts faced the gravest penalties, including death by hanging or stoning. Women accused of engaging in same-sex relationships were subjected to harsh punishments as well, often including flogging or imprisonment. Notable cases and reports of executions and punishments carried out against individuals accused of homosexual acts have garnered international attention and condemnation. Executions of LGBTQ+ individuals, particularly men, have been reported, with some cases involving public hangings or stonings. The harsh implementation of Sharia law has led to widespread fear and persecution within the LGBTQ+ community, driving many individuals underground or forcing them to flee the country in search of safety. Despite international outcry and calls for reform, the Iranian government has continued to enforce these draconian laws, perpetuating a climate of fear and oppression for LGBTQ+ individuals in Iran. The implementation of strict laws targeting LGBTQ+ individuals in Iran had profound and devastating effects on the community, both immediately and in the long term. In the immediate aftermath, LGBTQ+ Iranians faced increased persecution and discrimination, leading many to go underground to avoid detection and punishment. Forced into secrecy, LGBTQ+ individuals had to conceal their identities, resulting in a pervasive culture of fear and isolation within the community. This forced underground existence also limited access to vital resources and support networks, exacerbating the challenges faced by LGBTQ+ Iranians. The long-term impact of these laws extended beyond mere legal ramifications, permeating all aspects of LGBTQ+ Iranians' lives. Many were forced to flee their homeland and seek asylum abroad in countries with more accepting LGBTQ+ policies. The process of seeking asylum often involved facing additional challenges, including navigating complex legal systems and overcoming cultural and language barriers. LGBTQ+ Iranians who remained in the country continue to grapple with ongoing discrimination and persecution, which took a significant toll on their mental health and well-being. Stories and testimonies from LGBTQ+ individuals who have experienced persecution firsthand shed light on the human cost of these laws. Many have shared harrowing accounts of facing discrimination, violence, and even death threats due to their sexual orientation or gender identity. These personal narratives offer a glimpse into the profound challenges and injustices faced by LGBTQ Iranians, highlighting the urgent need for international attention and support for their plight. The international community has expressed grave concerns about Iran's treatment of LGBTQ+ individuals, condemning the systematic persecution and discrimination faced by LGBTQ+ Iranians. International human rights law unequivocally asserts the universality of human rights, without any form of discrimination. Various United Nations human rights treaty bodies have affirmed that discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and sex characteristics is prohibited under international law. For instance, the UN has deemed laws criminalizing private sexual relationships between consenting adults, regardless of sexual orientation, as violations of the right to privacy. Additionally, criminalizing consensual same-sex relationships is considered discriminatory and infringes upon the right to freedom from arbitrary arrest. Similarly, laws targeting transgender individuals, such as those banning cross-dressing, violate fundamental rights to non-discrimination, freedom of expression, and freedom from arbitrary arrest and detention. This stance has been reinforced through decisions and general guidance issued by various UN treaty bodies, including the United Nations Human Rights Committee, the Committee on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, the Committee on the Rights of the Child, the Committee Against Torture, and the Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. Despite these international legal protections, human rights violations against LGBTQ+ individuals persist globally, as reported by the United Nations and other civil society organizations. These violations encompass a range of egregious acts, including violent attacks such as physical and mental abuse, kidnapping, rape, and murder. Discriminatory laws, particularly those criminalizing consensual same-sex relationships, further exacerbate the plight of LGBTQ+ individuals, limiting their freedom of speech and expression and subjecting them to discriminatory treatment in various settings such as the workplace, education, family homes, and healthcare. Domestic laws regarding sexual orientation and gender also vary widely across countries, with some criminalizing consensual same-sex conduct and imposing the death penalty for such acts in certain nations. Despite progress in some areas, such as legal recognition of same-sex partnerships and marriages in certain countries, significant challenges remain in achieving full equality and protection of rights for LGBTQ+ individuals worldwide. In recent years, the situation regarding LGBTQ+ rights in Iran has been marked by a complex interplay of progress and setbacks. Despite the hostile legal and social landscape, underground LGBTQ+ organizations and support networks have emerged, providing vital resources and solidarity to LGBTQ+ individuals. These grassroots initiatives play a crucial role in offering support, advocacy, and community building for LGBTQ+ Iranians, navigating the challenges of living in a repressive environment. However, significant challenges persist as LGBTQ+ individuals continue to face systemic discrimination, violence, and legal persecution. The oppressive legal framework and societal attitudes make it difficult for LGBTQ+ Iranians to live openly and authentically. Despite these challenges, grassroots movements and advocacy organizations both within Iran and internationally are tirelessly working to raise awareness about the human rights abuses faced by LGBTQ+ Iranians. These efforts aim to mobilize international support and solidarity for the LGBTQ+ community in Iran. LGBTQ+ Iranians demonstrate remarkable resilience and courage as they defy oppression and fight for their right to live authentically and free from persecution. Their determination and perseverance serve as a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. In Iran, LGBTQ+ rights have long clashed with the country's penal code, a conflict dating back to the 1930s. Following the Islamic Revolution, the government implemented strict laws that criminalized any form of sexual activity outside heterosexual marriage, including same-sex relationships. Gay men in particular faced harsher penalties under the law compared to lesbians, with punishments ranging from imprisonment and corporal punishment to fines and even execution. This oppressive legal framework has led to Iran being labeled as one of the most discriminatory countries against homosexuals globally. In the immediate aftermath of the revolution, hundreds or possibly thousands of individuals, including approximately 20 homosexuals, were executed, highlighting the extreme measures taken by the government to suppress LGBTQ+ individuals. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini himself issued calls for the extermination of homosexuals in 1979, further intensifying the persecution they faced. Despite this hostile environment, transgender identity is officially recognized in Iran, albeit through a requirement of sex reassignment surgery. The state partially supports these surgeries financially, leading to Iran carrying out more sex reassignment surgeries than any other country except Thailand. However, this recognition comes with its own set of challenges, as some homosexual individuals in Iran have reported feeling pressured to undergo sex reassignment surgery to avoid legal and social persecution. Overall, the LGBTQ+ community in Iran continues to face immense challenges due to discriminatory laws and societal attitudes. The government's harsh enforcement actions and the pervasive discrimination against LGBTQ+ individuals underscore the urgent need for international attention and support for their rights and freedoms. The persecution of LGBTQ+ individuals in Iran serves as a stark reminder of the critical need for international solidarity and support for LGBTQ+ rights as a fundamental human rights issue. The ongoing human rights crisis faced by LGBTQ+ individuals in countries like Iran highlights the urgent importance of continued awareness, advocacy, and support from the global community. By shining a spotlight on the plight of LGBTQ+ individuals in Iran and other oppressive regimes, we can foster a greater understanding of the challenges they face and mobilize international action to address these injustices. It's imperative that we stand in solidarity with LGBTQ+ individuals in Iran and elsewhere, amplifying their voices and advocating for their rights to be upheld. Through collective action and ongoing efforts to raise awareness about the persecution faced by LGBTQ+ individuals, we can strive towards a more just and inclusive world where all individuals are treated with dignity, respect, and equality under the law. To support LGBTQ+ rights in Iran and around the world, viewers are encouraged to educate themselves further on the issue, support international LGBTQ+ rights organizations financially or through volunteering efforts, and participate in advocacy efforts by signing petitions, writing to policymakers, and raising awareness in their communities. By spreading awareness and engaging in respectful discussions, we can collectively work towards a world where all individuals are treated with dignity, respect, and equality under the law. Thanks for watching.